Okay, now I'm mad.
It's Riley's anger!
Let me at him. Again? Whoa. Okay, who's this guy? No way. Over my dead flaming body. Hey! What's happening? Oh, I barely touched it. Those morons broke the console. It's a brainstorm. Oh, wow. Are you kidding me?
Seriously?
What? I can't always be the rage guy. Hey, stop it.
Can somebody bench me?
Oh!
You're working with the best.
This could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello there, and welcome to I can't believe I'm doing this. Welcome to the 178th edition of Lewis Black's Rantcast, entitled, What? Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2. Oh, San Francisco. Stop it. Stop it, Lewis. Yes, this is it. The 178th edition of Lewis Black's Rantcast, entitled Inside Out 2, and why not? I've just come off of a week and change of doing interviews and the premiere of the new animation from Pixar, and I'm just thrilled to have been a part of it, and the week itself, and I am completely toast. And so I thought I'd wrap it up while I still have some vague memory of what occurred out there, because there is a certain excitement to being able to, people are interested in what you're doing, but after the 12 millionth question, you're not even interested in the sound of your own voice, and it can really be exhausting. And I got to spend 2 whole days in Disneyland. I'd never been to Disneyland. Never. I'd been to Disney World, and as I say in one of the interviews, it may or may not show up, that I had a horrific marriage, and afterwards my friends Jeff Davis and Bob Small, in order to kind of help me get through this, the horror of it, they took me to the one place on earth that they thought would wash it out of my system, and it certainly was a good start. It was Disney World. That's right, 3 days in Disney World, where at that point it seemed like they'd almost figured it out. You could get into that kind of sky rider thing that goes over it. I forget what they call it. But I'm going to go back because now that I have done Inside Out 2, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I can get in front of those kids in line, or at least that's what they tell me. And I'm going to head back to and see Disney World one more time. And so when you go across the park in that, you could actually smoke a joint in that time. And back then, it was illegal. And it was remarkable, Disney World. And I'm glad my friends took me there. It was a very safe space for me to be in. And once I was able to finish that joint and get out of that little thing that carried me across the park, I was ready to roll with whoever showed up, Goofy, Minnie, Mickey, Donald Duck, Scrooge, whatever character. And It's a Small World was fun, and everything was just great. And I had a great time. And then we went on to the adult Disney World of New Orleans, but that's another story. And it was great to be in Disneyland for 2 days. It's different and smaller, much smaller than Disney World, and I felt more like a theme park than Disney World was. And I don't know. When I get back to Disney World, I'll let you know. But it certainly did in retrospect. But it was great. And I wandered around the whole place and saw all the rides that I might not get on. There's one of those big swing rides that goes around like this, with the swings going out and out into around and around. It's kind of it can produce nausea in many people. But I was talking to Tony Hale, who was in it. He was going to get on the roller coaster there, which is huge and goes 55 miles an hour. And through a tube, it flips around like that. And I went, nope, no way. And I said to Tony, I'd go on that. And he said, well, what do you mean you go on that thing that goes around like that? Because all that has to happen is all that chair can just slip off. Those chains can go, and you're flying over the park. And that was the end of me wanting to take that ride. But there is a ride, for us there, the ride for the Inside Out movie, and for those characters, for the emotions, and my little character is there. There's a little, you can get in the little anger box, and it too goes around in a circle. It's for I guess 7-year-olds. And that was the ride I took. We did it for press purposes, and so that they could get some, social media stuff out there. But the greatest thing, truly, was that they have an angry dogs stand, a hot dog stand called Angry Dogs. One of them is a spicy hot dog, about $9.75 with some crunchy Cheetos, those hot Cheetos, and it's good. If you go to my website, thelewisblack.com, you can actually see me interacting there with my little character, trying to get him to eat the hot dog. But it is kind of weird to see him as opposed to me. I mean, just that, and then you begin to identify with. I do identify with him, except that his tie's tied all the way to the top. I didn't do that. I would have left it down a little. It was in the first one. And I do wish I had the thing coming out. I wish I had flames coming out of my head sometimes when I get mad. It'd be easier than yelling, and simpler, and just kind of, and really kind of taking physical comedy to a new height. And then I could get on America's Got Talent. But let's move on. It was that hot dog stand. I really enjoyed the hot dog, and I just couldn't get over, seeing that they, that this character that I am the voice of, having shilling hot dogs. And no, I don't get any money from that, but if you're there, get one. I'm telling you, it's a good one, and if not, get the other. They say they're all beef, so I don't know what the nitrate level is, but give it a go. It was. We were locked up there for 2 days. I only had one day to really wander around because they put you in a room and they interview you. They send in one after the other. It's a 5-minute interview. It's from. They come in. The first few we had were from Canada, Toronto, and I think Quebec, and maybe Vancouver too. One after the other. 5 minutes and then a minute break, and 5 minutes. And they said a minute break, but there was rarely a break. It was bam, 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 bam. We're in there 3 hours before lunch, and then come back in and do another 3 hours at least. And it was, but the good news is you're sitting there, and I was doing it with another cast member, and I was lucky enough to be sharing the room and the interviews with Paul Walter Hauser. We got along great. At least he seemed to act like we did. I certainly felt like we did. And we had a terrific time. It made it a lot easier to do those interviews, because now you're down really from 5 minutes to 2.5. That's manageable. And you're not just kind of grinding your own gears. You kind of bounce off of what the other person is saying, and he's a pleasure to work with. I mean, I've admired his work for quite a while. Richard Jewell, he was the title character in that film. He was in I, Tonya, and then he got an Emmy for Blackbird, and he was astonishing. I remember Kathleen calling me up and saying, "You got to see this guy. You got to see this streaming series that's out there. It's Blackbird, and you won't believe this guy. He's terrifying." And he was, and very odd, and extraordinary choices. And really, you were going to see him in a number of films. He's going to be playing Chris Farley, and I can already tell you he deserves an award for that because I'm sure he's going to be brilliant. He is not only brilliant, but just a truly terrific guy who seems to know every interviewer because he's already done a ton of work, and I expect him to do a ton more. And he flew in, did the thing with me. He was more on top of it than I was, and he'd flown in and had about 3 hours sleep. He'd been doing a film with Liam Neeson in Atlanta, Naked Gun. He's doing the remake of that, and then he flew back the next day, and then he's going to be flying to Australia to do a film. He's going to be in one of the new Marvel, one of the Marvel movies, the new one. An amazing guy, and a pleasure to spend time with. The whole cast was a pleasure to be around. Amy Poehler's a delight. I got to meet another, hero kind of, Ayo Edebiri. I'm hoping I'm getting that right. And she's in The Bear. If you've not seen The Bear, watch The Bear. She's incredible in The Bear. She's terrific in this. She plays Envy. Paul Walter Hauser plays Embarrassment. And you should really, but see The Bear. Getting back to that, see it. It's just, it's a knockout. It's just a terrific series, and I was thrilled to be able to meet her. Amy Poehler is just is wonderful to spend time around, and really shares that kind of stage that she has when she's present. She really does get, kind of the stage, and she shares it well. And there's no BS from her. Phyllis Smith couldn't be there, but she's wonderful in it. She plays Sadness. Somaya Hawke, who's a tremendous addition to the cast. She plays Anxiety. It's worth the price of admission. And the character they created for her is just exceptional. I can't say enough about this movie, and I will probably be yelling about it that's all I'm going to talk about, because it's I'm just saying go. Yes, granted, I may make a little extra money if you go. I'm just telling you go because it's great. All right? I mean, seriously, it needs to be seen. I think it's wonderful. I never thought there would be a sequel. I didn't imagine it happening. Peter Docter told me he didn't imagine it happening. Kelsey Mann, the director, I think, came up with the idea. He was a pleasure to work with. Meg LaFauve and David Holstein wrote it. They deserve huge credit. And when it's over, stick around and just take a look. It goes on forever. There's some scenes you'll want to see that are in there after it's over, but the credits go for days, and that'll give you an idea of literally the army that it takes to put together a Pixar film, and which is why, in the end, people can yell and scream all they want about it, but they put everything they've got into it, and it's a lot of brilliant people working together and doing an extraordinary job. And to work for them is a joy, just a fucking joy. There's a humility at that studio that you don't experience anywhere. I certainly haven't from any studio out there in La La Fuckville, and they are not even in La La Fuckville. They're in Emeryville, outside of San Francisco. So it was that cast to continue with them after talking, and I got to meet some of the animators at the party. I can't say enough about them and what they did in terms of giving my character just remarkable movement, a sense of somewhat of me in it physically. And I mean, there you go. Wow. Wowie, wow. Squeeze. Well, doesn't do anything. I was hoping it says squeeze there. And nothing happens. Yep. So much for the merch. Okay. I get nothing from that. They sell 1 billion of those. The other actors in it, Tony Hale, who you know from Veep, and he spending time with him was a joy. He makes me really laugh, and he's another wonderful actor that I would have loved to have worked with. I've worked with him for like 3 or 4 minutes in Unaccompanied Minors. We had a scene together, a very short one, and Liz Lapira is Disgust, and another one who it was a pleasure. I mean, all of them. There's no bullshit in the room. I mean, the one thing that Pixar knows how to do is not hire assholes, and there were none there. And Adele Exarchopoulos, who was not there, Ennui, Diane Lane, Kyle MacLachlan, Yvette Nicole Brown plays Riley's coach. Riley is voiced by, this was the name I like, Kensington Tallman. I was right. And I could go on and on. You'll see their names. My friend Frank Oz, June Squibb was in it, and also Paula Poundstone and John Ratzenberger. And I'm going to stop there because I sound like the credits. They should roll them over my face. I was thrilled by the whole experience. From the time we did them through the movie, and I was thrilled by the experience out there, but boy, oh boy, it is like running a marathon. It's a 3-day marathon run. And you go back in the next day, and then we did some things that they keep saying one of them is going to show up, because by the end of the day, we had to watch some social media reaction. There are people who really take Pixar films and the Pixar universe, as they call it, a little too seriously. I don't know. I mean, I guess people have to enter, or, it's a hobby. I don't know what you call it. I call it madness. By the end of 2 days of press, I was really losing it. And they wanted us, it was Tony and I and Liz were sitting discussing it. And Tony and Liz actually took it much more seriously. And I just was like, are you fucking kidding? What is the matter with you people? We can't give these people any credit for this. They would go on, well, the father, who was the divorced father from the parents divorced in Toy Story 3. They believed, there was a guy who believed that father went on to marry Riley's mother, who already had the daughter Riley, and he was the stepfather. I mean, I'm sitting there going, stop it. Some of the others I didn't even hear. It was just making me stir crazy. But we went on from there to the premiere, and I've never seen anything like it, ever. Before, the first one we did was a small version of this. This was, they said, the largest kind of opening in terms of a red carpet. It's the largest red carpet they've had since Toy Story 4, and it was massive. And he would pick me up in a giant black Suburban Chevy at the hotel, and it's literally a block away. I mean, less than a block. I come out the door and walk a third of a block, and I'd be there. Nope, you got to get in the car. And so I did. And as my friend Mark Lynn Baker so aptly put it, if you're in, at those moments, if you're by yourself, you're really just by yourself. The only way it makes sense is to be with other people, and there were no other people. So I got in, got out, and then literally got on a line that was like repeating the first day that Paul and I had done work together, and we did it again the second day. I think we were doing it the second day. Now my mind moves into a fog, but we were all on this. It's the longest red carpet I've ever been on, and the first time they kind of skip me, entertainment tonight, move on. But everyone talked to me, every single one, and it was a lot. I mean, it was a city block, close to a city block of everything from Access Hollywood to, stinky stanky forestry.com, for those, any, I don't even know what I'm saying. There are just so many things out there now, and young kids who were doing their own thing, and that it was who had some sort of a place you could go to see their stuff. And by the end, I was you just kind of go through it. It's like it's like speed dating, I guess. I've never done it, and I won't ever do it. But this was like, and then we sat down and saw the movie, and that boggled my mind. It was this. I'd seen it 2.5 times. That was the second full screening I'd had of it, and that was really in front with a real audience, but a real audience only in the sense that these folks were in love with the film, and it was kind of a hometown crowd. A lot of folks from Pixar were there, a lot of folks from Disney, a lot of friends, but it was. I didn't care. This thing is a knockout. I'm just telling you, go. I'm telling you, go. Don't wait to try to see it on TV. Go to a theater. It is worth it. The level of animation that they have done at this point has gone up 2, 3, 5, 10 notches. It is not the same as the animation you saw in Inside Out, which was pretty brilliant, and more than pretty brilliant. It was fucking brilliant. This is brilliant to the 10th power. It is a different quality to it. It is so different technologically that we were told that they couldn't, the original characters, anger and joy and sadness and disgust and fear, that they could not raise us back again. They couldn't bring us back from the old one, because everybody said, well, wouldn't that make this easier? And they had to redo us all for the new with the new technology, and you'll see the difference, I believe. And I'm telling you, if you see it once, you may want to see it again. I did, because you sit there and you get stuff, and then you go, "Oh shit, I missed that," and then maybe then go ahead and watch it at home if you want. But go see it at the theater. I'm not blowing smoke. It was a long, hard. I did a ton of stuff in terms of press, and I never really got tired because I loved talking about it. I was exhausted by the end because I stayed in LA, which also exhausts me. It takes longer to takes like a week to get to the interview, to do your 5-minute interview. But I did some early morning stuff for them. And I was on the Rich Eisen show. He's a pleasure to spend time with and talk to, because that's what it is. It doesn't feel like an interview. It feels like a conversation, which is the way it should fucking be. And so it's not just about honk, honk, quack, quack. I mean, then this and boy, oh boy, you really should say it. And here he is. And he shows the clip, and then we roll into other stuff, including talking about the Washington football team, which I know fascinates so many of you. And I did, you kind of do it, and you have no problem. I've watched people have to promote things that they can't possibly want to promote. This is a pleasure to promote. It is. Look, in the end, it is an extraordinary mental health film disguised as animation. It really is. The first one was a breakthrough in it. The second one is a move forward with it. And in terms of, helping someone, a kid, helping kids and adults, probably in many cases, get a sense of their emotions, but especially kids, to get some sort of, to know, to get a clue, get clued into anxiety at the age of 10 or 12 or 13 when you're feeling something and wondering what the fuck is that, and it's really extraordinary to be able to get that out there, and I think it makes a huge difference, and I think the timing couldn't be better. we have come through this pandemic, and many folks, like myself, still feel the anxiety that was brought on by going through it. And many people, and I think many people do have experienced that anxiety, and like they do in the Inside Out 2, they have repressed the emotions. There's a moment where the emotions are put in a jar. It's not a spoiler. And the five old emotions, the original emotions, put into a jar, and a bunch of insects and holes on the top, and we're repressed emotions. And I believe that many people have repressed anxiety. And the visual you'll see for that, and the work that's done in terms of it is of trying to help help all of us. They basically had a panel of 14-year-old girls who, every step of the way, in terms of as they began to build the script and the story and the animation, come in and say, does this work? Is this right? Are we being true to you? Are we being true to you? Do you feel this is an honest portrayal? And I think it made a huge difference. Some of the reviews I've read are appalling. I've never liked critics. Being a playwright myself, I just, I'm more critical of my work than others. And I would see, and have seen just recently, 3 plays that were given stellar reviews in England that were just, you just no. I went to theater school. I wanted to be a playwright. I fucking studied this shit. And I sit there going, really? This is it? And then, my work was, well, I won't even go into it, but in terms of mine. But what really appalled me in terms of, there was one critic who just went on and on, about, that Pixar was going in the wrong direction. All right. You know what? If you're going to review a film, and I went through this with unaccompanied minors too. All right. The film is not made for adults. All right. It's family entertainment, and unaccompanied minors, more than this, was really made for kids. This one is made for kids from 4 to fucking 110. All right. It's made for everybody. It's a family entertainment and should be reviewed as family entertainment. Okay. And some people are not. You do that first. All right. And then you can have your critical analysis within that framework. And then afterwards, if you didn't like choices made, etc., write a more another kind of an opinion on it. Stepping back, talking about it as a piece of animation that you felt could have been better if. Fucking unbelievable. Just extraordinary. And I think that really missing the point by many of them. And then I flew home after all was said and done just a few days ago. And then it opened yesterday, and it's rolling along now. And Pixar had said that, the thing that's always with Pixar is where you don't get paid so much by Pixar. And part of it is because they're paying 1 billion people to do a lot of the work that normally an actor might have to do. Pixar, they say, really, you don't get the payment you should, because what you do get is immortality. And I went, well, yeah, right. Well, after watching this one, I do think that's what they've given to those of us who were in it, or in both of them. It's huge to know that, until they find out that it's really not emotions that we're dealing with, but electromagnetic waves or chemicals. And it's just a matter of sulfates that really are the reason we're sour or whatever. Until then, this is, it's as much immortality as I've ever come across. because it really does tell an important story. And here's an interesting about our stories as we wrap this up, because enough's enough. Here we go. Speaking of stories, a school board in Florida, oddly enough, has banned from school libraries really a book about, now listen to this, and this is where we are crossing the line into a world that is nuts, all right? This is insane. This is a group of adults. Well, they banned the book, which is a book about school boards banning books from school libraries. And they banned it. Are you kidding me? What level of insanity are you at? What? Are you in the room? Okay? Are you here on the planet? What does that accomplish? And what, you can't take any criticism? Unbelievable. By a 3-2 vote, the Indian River County Board of Nixed banned the book. Smart name for a book, especially right now. A 2017 novel about a fourth grader who sets up a secret library of banned books. The book includes no sexual content. No sexual content! But as one board member said, the title itself and the theme challenges our authority. Yeah, a fourth grader, a fictional fourth grader challenges your authority. You're a bunch of fucking idiots. And it's disgusting. And grow the fuck up. And allow children to, read and have thoughts. Okay? What are you? Huh? What are you? Have you not read? I could go on, but then I just will be screaming and that will come out of my head. What are you doing? So, that's what we've got today. Go to see Inside Out 2. If you see Inside Out 2, you got something to say, let me know. Keep those rants coming, because now I got some time off. I'll be reading a lot more of them, and I'll be starting work, I hope, shortly. I'm putting together the first edition of these written out hopefully written for a book that will be sold somewhere. I'm hoping. We'll see. It's always a fight to get shit done, but I'm hoping if we can get it done cheaply enough that we can use it to basically keep books from being banned, or use the money from these books so that people who need whose books have been banned in certain areas, that we can send them the books, which is what we do at the Kurt Vonnegut Library. Go to that website when you get a chance. And if you get a chance, go to the National Comedy Center this summer. Great time to go. 2 great places that I've had the joy of working with. Take care of yourselves, and it's been a privilege and a pleasure, as always, to spend time with you. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Aha, Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.